This video will be about comments regarding the Phillipsburg Free Public Library funding that occurred during the Town Council meeting on February 16th, 2021. In the first segment that we'll see here, Councilwoman DelGerolamo proposes adjusting the library tax. There is, I believe, a misrepresentation in her statement that funding the library is taking money away from other departments in the town.
Closed. We now move on to new business. New business for discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I'd like to bring up again, this is, I've asked before, but I really think we need to strongly consider looking at the library tax for referendum, increasing the library tax. If we're going to continue to fulfill that, fund the library through the library tax, we haven't changed that library tax in a very, 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 very long time. In fact, I believe we are at the state minimum. I strongly encourage we look into that and look at putting that on the referendum so that we can support the library moving forward. We can't continue to exhaust the rest of the town department budgets at the expense of funding the library. So we have to find a way to do it through the taxes that we do collect for the library. So that's my ask, because I know it is time sensitive to make it on the agenda. But I strongly recommend we start that process so that we could be ready for that.
Very, very nice, Councilwoman. Do we have anyone want to join in on that discussion with the Councilwoman?
Council President, I would support that initiative.
Council President, I would support it as well.
Thank you.
I would, moving forward, before we considered anything like that, I'd like to see, I guess, what the reserves are currently on the library, what their expenditures are, maybe an itemized report. It should spell it should paint a clear picture whether or not we should move forward with this or not.
Thank you, Councilman Piazza. And I will echo Councilman Piazza's sentiments too. Before I commit myself, this is a very sensitive subject and topic, and we do know that. So in order to do that, I would like to take a look at everything. I really do like what the Councilwoman said, and I also like what the Councilman said. So I'm going to be right in between and balance that out, and we'll get some further information and we'll move forward. Let the public know that your council is working for you, and especially at the Phillipsburg Free Public Library is what, this is. We know how sensitive this subject is and how we're going to move forward with this, but we must look at everything in its totality and make the best decision for our taxpayers.
In the next video segment, resident Nicole Timberman asks if moving the dollars by referendum that historically have come out of the town budget to being captured to the already existing library account will raise taxes. My answer, which will be explained in another video, is no to her question. Residents have been paying approximately $745,000, and that is the amount they will continue to pay even under the new scenario. Nicole Timberman also questioned whether the library needed so much money if they are closed during the COVID-19 situation, and if they had furloughed employees. My response to that question would be, although the library is not open for in-person book browsing, the library is not closed. The library is open for limited hours for computer use. There's also computer book borrowing and curbside service. Additionally, the library has aggressively established an online presence and continues many of its programs online.
Sir, next we have resident Nicole Timberman.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes. Name and address for the record.
Nicole Timberman, 112 North Riverview Road. I just had two really quick questions. In regards to Councilwoman DelGerolamo bringing up the library tax increase, is that going to fall onto the residents? So you're going to increase the amount of money that we pay in taxes towards the library? Is that correct?
I believe she affirmed that, yes.
No, would you like me to
I didn't hear
answer?
anything.
I was waiting to be recognized.
I do. I want somebody to answer. You're taking away on my time. I have two questions.
You're fine while the councilwoman's answering.
Okay, I was waiting to be acknowledged. What it would do is simply put it on the ballot. The voters would decide if it increases. You already pay a rate. That
Mhm.
rate would go up, similar to your sewer. It would be the rate that goes up, but the voters would have to approve it.
Okay.
We
In
cannot do that
regards-
without the referendum.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
In regards to that, with everything that's gone on in 2020 and continues to go on into 2021, I understand that the library is functioning at minimal. They're not open to the public. We have to make requests. Have their employees been furloughed or laid off, or have they cut their costs in any way, shape, or form where they continue to ask the taxpayers to pay for more money that we just don't have right now?
I would have to say that is a question for the administration, Ms. Timber. We're not in charge
Okay.
of personnel.
I think an itemized breakdown of finances, like I had mentioned before, would help paint a clear picture of where they're at financially before we even
Absolutely.
going out to a referendum.
And I just wanted to bring those things up to the public because I hear the library coming up a lot, and it's not open. So I don't know.
So next we have David Morrisette.
My comments to the town council regarding the library were, thank you, Councilwoman DelGerolamo and others who support increasing the library tax. Having an adjusted library tax would not be an increases in taxes. About $745,000 in funding for the library currently comes from the town. About $745,000 in funding comes from the town. Last year it was $645,000 since the library took a $100,000 cut in funding. The library gets its funding from an account that receives its money from a specific library tax and also receives money from the town budget to make up the difference for what the library needs to operate. Instead of a large amount of money being allocated from the town, the money the library requires would be allocated directly to the library account through the library tax. At the last council meeting, Council Vice President Fulper pledged to support full funding of the library, which is great. I am assuming Council Vice President is meaning the full $765,900 the library requested in the budget request of October 2020. I urge Mayor Tersigni to present a budget to council with the full amount of $765,900 the library is requesting. Moving money around in line items in a budget to cover required needs gets complicated.
Thank you, Mr. Morrisette.
Further remarks from Councilwoman Danielle DelGerolamo regarding the library tax.
And just a quick explanation on that library. It actually doesn't mean there would be an increase. What's happened, we have a 10-year-old issue we're trying to take care of in a very short period of time. What happened a few years ago was we took almost $500,000 out of the general fund and moved it in to support the library in full. Well, that $500,000 came at the cost of other departments. So moving this tax may, in theory, just move some money around to somebody else's point. It doesn't necessarily mean anything's going up. When you look at your tax bill, you see a library tax, you see your county taxes, you can see your school tax, your municipal tax. It's a line item you see. So the money we dedicate to it, this is one way to ensure it'll be here for years to come. Last year, for example, we took that operating budget for the pool and we moved it all into the library. So we're making sacrifices continually at the expense of the rest of the department. After a while, that's really getting unfair. We need to make it as sustainable as we can. So by recommending we put it to a level that it'll operate. There's other libraries in town, they operate solely on that library tax and that's it. Our library could not operate on what's collected on that library tax. So I just wanted to clarify that. There's a lot of numbers in the background of that, but short story, layman terms, by fully funding it out of the municipal budget, we are, and trying to maintain flat taxes where we can, that percentage is coming at the expense of other services. So we want to be cognizant of that. That's it.
Council Vice President Fulper clarifies that he is supporting the full $760,900 the library is requesting, which we in the community thank him for. Now, excuse me, now it would be great if Council Vice President Fulper could advocate and persuade other council members to also vote for full funding of the library. Council Vice President also mentioned he is disappointed that a website David Morrisette, that's me, maintains did not previously mention that he had committed to full funding 2 weeks ago. He has a point here. He is correct. The website has not been updated with that information. It will hopefully be updated with more current breaking news this coming weekend. The reason the website has not been updated is that I've been very busy with some other initiatives. Council Vice President has indicated that I have been mean to him on the Library Facts website. I do take issue with him there. I have reported on his attacks on those who support the library, but I have not disparaged the Council Vice President. I have, however, reported on his attacks. Since Council Vice President Fulper kindly gave a plug to the Library Facts website, I urge you to visit it and absorb some facts along with primary source documentation. I will also include the website in the YouTube description below.
Council Vice President.
Yes, sir. Just two things, really. I'm going to, again, reiterate, just to clarify for Mr. Morrisette, that yes, I support fully funding the library at their request. And I hope that he updates his website to reflect such. I did 2 weeks ago, and it still says the same mean stuff about me. But I have thick skin.